is that the student of knowledge will strive to memorize a summarized text of the science that he is busy studying. If that is not possible, or he is not able to memorize it word for word, then let him repeat it often until its meanings are set deep into his heart. Then the rest of the books of this science will be like clarification and an interpretation of this principle that he has comprehended and learned. That he has comprehended and learned. This point here is clear. We understand this issue. We know that Shaykh Abdul Salam, rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentioned التدرج يكون في أمرين, right? Learning gradually is in two affairs. What was that in? And learning in general, and then likewise in specific learning. So previously, there was some speech from Ibn Abdul Barr and Ibn Jawzi rahimahumullah about this general learning, the studying gradually in general, and the likes like this. And even some of the details were mentioned there as well, but now it's becoming more detailed. So he's mentioning here a great benefit that every science that you want to study. For example, if you study An-Nahu, if you study Sarf, or in the Arabic language, for example, or if you study in Hadith, Mustalah Hadith, you study Mustalah Hadith, and then after that you study also Al-Hadith, Matun Al-Hadith, the text of Hadith, and then after that you study Tafsir, Usul Al-Tafsir, then you begin to study Tafsir, and then also you study Fiqh. So first you study Usul Al-Fiqh, and then you begin to study Fiqh. Fiqh al-Ahkam, and the likes like this. So in each one of these sciences here, he's advising to memorize a summarized text. He's advising to memorize first a summarized text. So also with this in mind, thinking about what has preceded, we'll not jump to those large texts. Whether we memorize a summarized text. If somebody's in Mustalah Hadith, for example, he's not going to go to Tadrib al-Rawi, which is 2 volumes, or Fath al-Naghith, which is 6 volumes, from the big books of Mustalah Hadith, clarifying many details and differences of opinions and so on and so forth, the methodology of the early generations, the later generations. He's going to leave that alone entirely. He's going to leave that alone. Those big books, those large books, those great detailed books, which are very beneficial, he's not ready for that. What is he going to memorize? What is he going to study? Nukhbat al-Fikr. نخبة الفكر صفحات قليلة صفحات, it's just a few pages. نخبة الفكر, or he's going to memorize البيقونية or نخبة الفكر, even better than بيقونية, نخبة الفكر, and the likes like this. He'll memorize that, and then after that, everything that he studies from there is going to be detailed clarification of that. And this text is already arranged in a beautiful manner, and it's summarized very easy. And the main topics of that science are all gathered in that text. So then, whenever he comes to the next book, which is larger, and the next book that is larger, all of this is going to be a clarification, shedding light on what he already memorized and understood in general. You understand? So now that he will carry this with him wherever he goes, and then whenever he reads this is understanding. So these books right here, they're not for memorizing in the first place. They're for fahm, for understanding. You'll understand them. So once you study this in this manner, you have this foundation, and then whenever you read these other details in the larger books, or in the larger works, or in the more detailed explanations from the people of knowledge, that detailed explanation is not memorized. It's not memorized word for word. Rather, it's understood. This knowledge is understood, and then whenever it's learned properly, you will put that same information in your own words. You'll be able to put that same information in your own words based upon the principles that you have learned. You understand? So from here now, you'll be able to explain yourself the fundamental book that you memorized, because now you have memorized it, you have understood it, and then you have also understood what is included in all of these other details here, and that which you have learned for your teacher. So now you have a lot of light, and you're able to talk about the subject that you memorized in the first place, and you can discuss the affairs. You'll be able to talk about Mustalah Hadith, As-Sahih, and you know the definition, and you know some benefits about that, and Al-Hasan, you know the definition, you know some benefits about that, you know the Da'if, you know the different types of Da'if, and why it's Da'if, and you know the different categories, and you know the details of that, and you know the definitions of that, and you know some evidences for that, and you know some examples for that, so on and so forth. In this manner, now this science will become firm, because you had learned in this manner, like this, little by little. We understand that? That's the point. Then if you move on, for example, into hadith, you don't go to Bukhari, You don't go to Kutub al-Sittah. You don't go to Bulugh al-Maram. You don't go to Umdat al-Ahkam. You go to the 40 Hadith of an-Nawawi. Rahimahullah. You go to the 40 Hadith of an-Nawawi. You memorize them precisely. You try to read them to a teacher. You study them. You review some explanations of them. You sit in a class with them. You try to learn them, if you can, directly from a teacher, or if not, in the other means that we have, until these narrations are firmly memorized, and likewise the general meanings are understood, and some of the benefits likewise you have come across them, and then after that you move on. And then from here you move on to Umdat al-Ahkam. And from the benefit of moving to Umdat al-Ahkam before Bulugh al-Maram is because the hadith here, all of them are muttafiqun alayhi. All of them are in Bukhari and Muslim. So all of them are of the utmost authenticity, and all of them are from the same books. So if you were to move to Bulugh al-Maram, these books, the narrations here, some of them are in Bukhari, some of them are in Muslim, some of them in Sunan Abi Dawud, some of them is in Tahawi, some of them is in Ibn Khuzaymah, some of them are authentic, some of them are weak, some of them, it becomes a lot more complicated real fast. So the one who has the foundation, he memorized over 500 hadith, all of them are muttafiqun alayhi. All these hadith in Umdah, they're also in Bulugh, except for very few. All of them that are in Umdat al-Ahkam, they're also in Bulugh al-Maram, except for a very few. So you memorize all of these, and you know exactly where all of them are at. You know all of them are authentic, and you know the chapters that they're they're under, and the evidences that they indicate. And now you have a strong foundation. Now, if you keep on studying, now you move to Bulugh, and that will be easy. It will be easy to add on top of that foundation that you already have, that's already solid, that they have no doubt where the hadith are at. This hadith is muttafaqun alayhi, khalas. Now it's easy. One of the hard things to do is to memorize where the hadith is at. Is it in Bukhari? Is it in Muslim? Is it muttafaqun alayhi? Is it by Bukhari only? Is it in Sunan Abi Dawud? Or it can become very complicated easy. And this is part of learning, and this is also part of carrying knowledge, especially of the science of hadith. To know these masadir, and to know these resources, and to know where the narrations are at, and how to find them, and the likes like this. So this is great advice. So now if you learn in this manner, for example, little by little, then we'll take the example of the Nukhbat al-Fikr, and then this is your base, you memorize that, and then every time you build more and you have a benefit over here, you take it back and you write it on the side here. You write it on the side here in that same book that you have, and then you have more benefits. Every time you get a new benefit on that particular issue, no matter how long, maybe a year later, 2 years later, that new benefit on that same topic, you bring it back to the same book, and eventually you're going to have one text in front of you that's going to have a lot of benefits related to that same thing. And anytime you need to review that topic, you can go to one text that you have that you've already summarized and gather lots of benefits and explanations yourself, and you can go there for the benefit that you need in that particular issue. You understand? So now you're going to have this print that you've been working with for some time in this particular subject that you rely upon. And then whenever you need to review that issue, you just go back and review it, and all your notes are already there, and it's already good. And anytime a new note comes, you come and put it in your place. One thing about these different fawaid and these different benefits, which sometimes you hear, we say, for example, Sufyan al-Thawri, he said this about the niyyah. Another time he'll say about this or say it about that. So these narrations, they're found in books, in the bellies of the books, in the depths of the books, in different places. But whenever you come across them, you don't leave them there. You take them out and you put it in the place that it goes. That goes with the intention. The hadith the narration of Sufyan al-Thawri, it should go by the hadith of Umar. You understand? This narration from Thawri, it clarifies important details related to the hadith of Umar. So you have to make that connection. So when in doing that, you're taking these notes and you're taking it down like this. So for example, now you're in the 40 hadith. That's the first hadith. So then you have this text and you're writing these benefits here little by little, and it's growing. And then eventually you don't have to have that book anymore. Now that book is in your heart. So now anytime you talk about hadith and niyyah, one of the automatic things you're going to talk about is that narration of Thawri, or the narration of Yahya ibn Abi Kathir. These things, they'll become like he said, Allahu Akbar, they'll be flesh and blood. It'll be like your flesh and blood. It will mix with you like flesh and blood. That's the favor of Allah Azza wa Jal for the one who learns in this manner, that the knowledge will become a part of you. You will be a student of knowledge. Allahu Akbar. It's a blessing, the blessing of blessings to know your religion. You'll become a student of knowledge. The knowledge will be a part of you. You will speak with the speech of knowledge. You will talk with knowledge. The way that you arrange your words in the Arabic language will be the same way the scholars do and the people of knowledge do, and the same way the Prophet does, because that's how you learned. You didn't learn in the street. You didn't learn ma fi ma'lum. You didn't learn none of that stuff. You didn't use your tongue to talk the slang language in the Arabic language. You're not worried about trying to talk to people on the street. Whether you're learning the Arabic language properly for the sake of Allah, to learn your deen, to understand the Quran. And now because of that, a favor, whenever you speak, you'll speak clear like that. So this is a great benefit. It will mix with you. It will become a part of you. The knowledge will be your life. The knowledge will be your life. This is the benefit of learning properly. As for the one who doesn't learn properly, it's not going to mix into his heart. And we see many times he's going to leave it and he's going to go away. He's going to leave it. He's going to go away. It's not going to reside in the manner that is required. But if you are patient, barakallah fikum, and you continue upon that way, it will set in. It will set in. You will remember, inshallah, and it will benefit. You will benefit and you will bring benefit, and you will have great status and rank with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and likewise with the slaves of Allah. Allahu Akbar.